You know poetry dropping when the pen clicks, and poets get it popping with the pen click. You now rock with Kuya David, the pen click prime minister. Out here with my brother Daniel, he's the chubby fat god. And today, speeding down the left lane, healing all the stress, pain, revitalizing y'all with a fresh brain. We got the goddess, Shalane. Let's get it.
Where did you go? Because I looked for you and you weren't there. Why did you leave me? I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm glad that I found you, and I'm glad that you came back to me. Where the fuck did you go is the question that I'm asking you, Happiness. All right? Trying to get to know you again is a challenge. I love you, and I love how you fill my soul in a way that's even more gratifying than before, but I don't know if I can trust you again. Nah, see, I don't know if I can forgive you. You've been back here only a couple months now, and you just walk around here like nothing ever happened. Like, you didn't just leave me here tossing and turning in a bloody pool of my own emotions. You neglected me, Happiness, all right? And now you think you can just walk back into my life. Now you think that you can just come back here and we're going to pick back up where we left off. That's what you think. That's really what you think. Nah, I'm just asking. You think you can just walk back up in here, change everything, and we just going to act like nothing ever happened. Pick back up where we left off. Well, you got a lot of damn nerve. You hear me? You got a lot of damn nerve. All right? Because you know what? Listen. Okay? Listen. I'm sorry. All right? I'm sorry for yelling. And I'm sorry for screaming, but I'm just frustrated, Happiness. All right? Don't do this to me again. Don't leave me. All right? I know and you know that I'm going to find you and I'm going to bring you back to me every single time. But don't play like this. You and I both know that I need you.
Hey, let's go. Shalane the God.
Yeah. Right. They got me in the feels, man. I was like, oh, damn, like she's still in it.
I stumbled a little bit, but
all good. You nailed the landing. That's what's up.
Hey,
thanks for joining us, Shalane.
Yeah, no problem. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, we're a Pomona family. We out here. We doing all kinds of stuff. Shalane Goss in the cuts. How you living, Kuya?
I'm doing good. You know, it's like we're rolling up to the premiere drop of Pen Click, and yeah, we're in the middle of pre-production, so you know, trying to get this cracking and give you the people the most lit poetry podcast in the galaxy. Changing, revolutionizing American poetry. You know what it is
in the known galaxy.
Facts. Yeah, shout out to Fourth and 11th Dimensions and everything else that's outside of our current scape and perspective that our biological senses can currently pick up in reality.
Hey.
No, it is. Anyway, so moving on to our first segment of the show, Threads and Lines.
This is all first verse. All first verse. You about to get this work.
Threads and Lines is where we investigate what are the threads of life experiences that tie together these lines of poetry. Threads and lines. And off top, all right, so quick story. Mr. Daniel Hees, he sent me so he always sends me the text for all the poems of the guests that we receive, and he sent it to me like through Facebook Messenger, like just unedited, just like completely just raw text. Yeah. And I read the first lines like where'd you go? Because I looked for you and you weren't there. I'm like, yo, did I fuck up? And I was like checking my phone for notifications and like checking my Google Calendar, and it's like, yo, what happened? And then like 3 minutes later, I got the follow-up message. Oh yeah, this is Shalane's piece. I'm like.
Meanwhile, I'm just working at home on the computer. Like, oh shit, I gotta send this to David. I don't want to send him the wrong format, so I'm just gonna send him here so I know he gets it.
Facts. But at the same time, it's like those three lines of your poem, like that. I felt attacked. I'm like, yo.
Yeah, the day of reading it.
So off top, I already feel like your poem, like to the heart. You know, on the chest.
I'm glad.
And clearly, and you're speaking to the personification of happiness as revealed, the Shyamalan twist at the end of the first stanza.
Yes, sir.
The way that you're speaking you're kind of barking at happiness. Like, where were you in life at that point when you wrote this poem, and how did happiness leave you?
Okay. At that point, I was at a very dark place. I had, you know where we all are after a heartbreak, you know, and after one of those real people who, you know, you really love, but also not only that, but it's just the cumulative, you know, experience of heartbreak. If you're out there and you're having relationships, you're going through heartbreak. And happiness left me because that person that I was attaching happiness to at that time walked out the door, and happiness went with it. So I was learning that lesson at that point.
The lesson of not investing, because codependency, right?
Right.
Codependency is a motherfucker. Where,
right.
We are supposed to be two individuals in a union. We're not like it's often romanticized to be two halves of the same person, but then when you do that and your other half leaves, then you're now half a person.
You're left with nothing, yeah.
Right, and that's a hard lesson that doesn't get educated.
What do you learn that? Right,
Like, where do you learn that?
Yeah.
Aside from the hard way and
going through it.
Right, your friends, you could watch your friends and family go through it, but oftentimes that doesn't stick. It's like doing is oftentimes like the best way to learn. Yeah. Unfortunately,
the only way to learn.
Right. Yeah, and unfortunately in this case, like you had to feel that cold wind. Yeah.
One thing though you said real quick, you made an interesting point though. You also mentioned like the cumulative trauma, you know what I'm saying? Because it's one thing when like you do end a relationship or you have a big messy breakup, that shit's obviously gonna inspire poems and shit,
right?
But there is those like little hits, you know, just dating, you know what I'm saying? Just like putting yourself out there, the little rejections, the like little hits, the anxieties and shit. It's all a traumatic experience out there.
I think I was at that point to where you have to go through something a couple times before you realize a pattern.
I
was at that point now. I'm like, okay, it's happening again. Then you start thinking about. I just remember where I was physically. I had a studio, I had an apartment, I had a loan. I was alone, had a lot of time to think, and it was just that moment of realization. Like, damn, like, okay, this is what this is.
Damn, like especially when you have the time to really.
Man, that's after work just.
And then like your Netflix subscription goes out because your partner had the set the passwords.
And you know what? It's been a long time, and she barely did that like a couple months ago, and I just been lost.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna get another one.
Meanwhile, her best friends got it too, and her coworkers got it.
Everybody
Like,
at the house got it. Everybody at the
got
house got it. So we be watching it, but that was wild. That was messed up. I'm not even gonna lie.
That's pretty wild. How like these days we have so many distractions to keep our minds away from our problems. Like we're just like constantly scrolling through Instagram or Reddit or whatever, and until that shuts down, it's like we're not really addressing our problems, and maybe that causes a lot of anxiety in our generation these days.
Maybe.
But as happiness leaves you, like that's so big of a mountain that you really can't not face it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's where I was.
But then out of nowhere, at the end of stanza 3, like we see that happiness comes back. Like oh, what's up? Like you used to be here, but then you left, and now you're trying to kick it on the couch so you go watch Morrissey at the Palladium. Like what's up?
Right.
What's popping? Like you just trying to find a place to crash. It's weird when like you've been with sadness for so long, when you've been without happiness for so long, and then all of a sudden you kind of forget what you were like. When happiness returns. Like, can you dive into that part where happiness starts to like knock on your door again?
Right. So when I was attaching happiness to the person, and this is not just one person, but period, when you're attaching happiness to a person, you get codependency. But when I was doing that, it's like that person walked out the door, so that happiness went with it. And so now I'm alone, and happiness is gone. But then while I was alone, I started, realizing that, okay, it's my responsibility. So happiness walked back in because I stopped attaching it to that person. You feel me? So it wasn't that like, okay,
so
happiness is over here. Right. I was learning that lesson that, it's up to me overall. And happiness walked back into my life while I was alone. Not another person walked into my life, but happiness through the back door. Like, okay, now because it was me the whole time. It's something I had to create and not something that I had to wait for somebody else to be able to get that from.
You were learning to obtain happiness on your own means. Okay.
Yeah. And like one of my favorite parts of the poem is the last stanza. And you kind of like write that out here. I know and you know that I'm going to come after you and I'm going to find you, talking to happiness again. So you are like taking up the I guess challenge or the responsibility of ownership, the like personal, like, all right, this is mine to either have or not to have.
Exactly,
and it's on me to get it. But like that line especially, that I'm going to come after you. It's almost, for me, it felt like reluctant, almost like all the other things we learn to do as adults. Like when we're kids, love is like fairy tales and princesses, and all I got to do is find a girl I could save, and all I got to do is be a girl that has to be saved.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And now the reality of it's here, and it's like, oh no, you actually have to be a cooperative, kind, patient, loving partner.
You actually have to work on yourself. Yeah, you actually have to,
you have to take responsibility for what's about to come. So is there some of that? Is there like that reluctant, like, all right, now I'm growing up? You know what I'm saying?
There is definitely a lot of that, bro, because personal growth is like, how many times, like, how good does it feel to to hear something bad about yourself. It never feels good to hear something bad about yourself. You feel me? When somebody tells you, and even if it's true, like people tell you a lot of bad stuff, but I'm talking about when you're with somebody and they know you and they bring up one of your faults that you feel it. Maybe you even don't say it, maybe you get mad, but
you know they know you too. Like they know you,
and they know that that's something they shouldn't weaponize it. But when that's brought into the air, you have an option now. Like, or when you realize something about yourself, you have an option now. Either I'm going to try to make it better or I'm not. You feel me? Because if you don't, it holds you back. But it's not always okay. Yeah, let's fix Shalane. Let's go, because it's work. It's mental work. It's like it's self accountability. It's being responsible for yourself. It's like cleaning up your own messes. It's apologizing. It's forgiving. It's all of these things that aren't the easiest things to do.
Word.
But like at what I was talking about right here, like I know when you know that I'm gonna find you and I'm gonna come after you. Like happiness. Like I know like that when shit goes sour. I'm sorry, but when stuff goes sour, like I'm sad.
Oh, you can curse? It's cool.
Yeah, fuck all that. Shit. What's up, mom?
Shout out.
That when stuff goes bad, I'm gonna be sad and I'm gonna be in a dark hole for a little bit. But overall, I know that I'm gonna be fine.
And that's a really important point because, like, especially in our community in poetry, we are trying to uplift, we are trying to inspire and nourish and make art worth something and do something for everybody. But we're often always just fierce. We're often always, you know what I'm saying? And there isn't, you have to create those moments where it's like, you know what? This is fucking hard. Yeah. And like, I'm married, it's hard. There's days where I'm like, I don't want to fucking be patient and kind. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to fucking do that.
I want to be a fucking ugly person today. Like, why can't I just weak
or struggling or whatever it is.
Because of all the weight. You feel me?
Exactly.
We go through shit too.
But that's a part of it too. And that's as much of value as, the fierce face. And like, you have to take the whole picture. So I appreciate you. I appreciate like that part of the poem too. Like you finding a way to effectively convey that, at least to me, like, oh damn, yeah,
I love how
we do got to go get it ourselves, and it is gonna be hard.
Not only do you identify like the situation, but then you also address the situation and find your way towards healing.
A resolution.
Like, but it's not even you're not even completely healed at the end. It's like, okay, I have to begin this journey, because you say I have to find happiness, and it's like, I loved how that implied that, like, okay, well, I have a lot of work ahead of me still.
Yeah.
So it's not just like neatly tied bow at the end. It's like, no, like this is the beginning of something longer and greater.
Yeah, because with that, like that was just like a moment of growth. Like towards the end was me realizing and growing. And with growth comes like a lot of responsibility and a lot of accountability, because you realize what's wrong, you feel me? And you have an option of whether you're going to fix it or not. And if you're not, you chilling, right? You chilling on the couch every day. You ain't got to do shit different. But if you do, then that's another level of responsibility required of you, because now you're responsible for functioning in the way that you want to function and say you are. And you have to hold yourself accountable, even when nobody's looking. You have to hold yourself accountable. And it's hard, and you struggle, and you'll be, 5 steps ahead and then get kicked 3 back, but it's like you just continuously function as a person that you want to be.
Grow out, God.
And hold on and another thing that I'm learning also is you have to hold on tightly to your strengths, because if you don't hold on tightly to your strengths and know what they are, the world is going to define you by your weaknesses.
Hey,
that's one thing that
let's go. Bars.
That was a bar. That was a bar. Hold up.
We got a lot of them. But you got to hold on to your strengths.
Word.
Yeah, thank you, man. Like that was, you gotta put like some hard hats on the way you dropping knowledge. Hold up, man. Goddamn. All right, tight. So that was Threads and Lines, and moving on to our second segment of the show, the two-piece combo.
Two-piece combo. The two-piece combo is the part of the show where we go on YouTube, we find a little poetry video, we give it a watch and a review and a slam score at the end of it all.
And today's piece comes from Sarah K. With the poem Hands, off of the revolutionary show
Bless
Deaf Poetry.
And this is like late Deaf Poetry if Sarah K's on, right? Like this is super late in it, like season 6 or
I remember I used to watch this.
Hell yeah, we all did. That's why I'm here, though.
Yeah. From New York, please give a warm Deaf Poetry welcome to 18-year-old Sarah K.
18,
Yeah, right? 'Cause that's what I'm saying. This had to be like late in Deaf Poetry, but fairly early in Sarah K.
People used to tell me that I had beautiful hands, told me so often, in fact, that one day I started to believe them, until I asked my photographer father, hey, Daddy, could I be a hand model? To which he said, no way. I don't remember the reason he gave me, and I would have been upset, but
Yeah.
there were far too many stuffed animals to hold, too many homework assignments to write, too many boys to wave at, too many years to grow. We used to have a game, my dad and I, about holding hands, because we held hands everywhere.
Okay, the poem's called Hands, right? She's using her hands a shitload at the beginning.
entire time.
Yeah, but one thing that she always does in her performances, I feel like, is she's very organic and fluid with her motions. They don't seem contrived. They don't seem contrived.
Shout out
but
to
they
all our
certainly are.
audio-only podcast listeners.
Yeah, if you
who
can't see
see
this.
any of this, you guys are
Can't
missing
see it.
out.
You
It's
have to
like,
just trust
whoa,
us. Just trust us.
check out the lens flare. Boom. She's shooting marshmallows out of her eyeballs.
Was that a
What?
lightsaber? No.
Goddamn.
But everything she
Whoa.
does, though, it has a purpose, and it but again, it always seems very organic, and like this is just me telling a story or giving you a poem or whatever it is. Oh, I went too far.
Yeah, I brought it back, but
Oh, we went back twice.
People used
thought
to
they were
tell
hair,
me
too.
that I had
Reload.
beautiful hands.
I kinda fucks with that
Told me
hair, but
so
kinda
often,
don't
in
at
fact,
the
that
same
one day
time.
I started to believe
Like,
them.
her hair is
until I
fire,
asked my
but the
photographer
bleached
father,
tips
hey,
are kinda
Daddy,
like,
could I be a
I'm having
hand
mixed
model?
feelings.
To which he said, no way. I
like
don't
that, like
remember
she
the
does so
reason
much
he gave me,
motion.
and I
She's
would
doing
have
so
been
much
upset,
motion
but
with
there
her
were far
hands
too
and
many stuffed animals to hold, too many homework
descriptive
assignments
things
to write,
that
too many
she's
boys
doing.
to wave at, too many years to
but
grow.
it seems
We
like
used to have
that.
a game,
But
my
she,
dad.
this is all planned, you know.
Remember the reason he gave me, and
We
I would
already
have been
heard this.
upset, but there were far too many stuffed animals to hold, too many homework assignments to write, too many boys to wave at, too many years to grow. We used to have a game, my dad and I, about holding hands, because we held hands everywhere, and every time either he or I would whisper a great big number to the other, pretending that we were keeping track of how many times we had held hands, that we were sure this one had to be 8,002,753. Hands learn more than minds do. Hands learn how to hold other hands, how to grip pencils and mold poetry, how to tickle pianos and dribble a basketball and grip the handles of a bicycle, how to hold old people and touch babies. I love hands like I love people.
All right,
They're
like
the
that was
maps
dope.
and
I get it. Like she's doing all this hand shit, but I don't know why that bicycle line just killed me. I just was over it. I was over it at that point.
I feel some type of way about like hands touching old people and babies. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, touching them how?
I
Yeah.
think she just means fragility, like being fragile with them.
Oh, look at this.
Maybe I'm sensitive. Look,
We got
can't show me nothing.
Shalane like on wave with this, yo.
I get it. I'm just saying
Sinks
it's
into
too
the
No, the
much.
bicycle she was reaching, definitely.
Yeah, it's just too much. Like,
Yeah.
it's not, and I get it. Like gripping the bicycle, like joy. Maybe I don't know what she's trying to say there, but it's also like, why are you saying that though? You could have just
Everything
moved on.
else made us feel something, and the bicycle was like,
Yeah, and the bicycle
Kill the high.
motion. It's never a flattering like.
Kill the high.
Yeah.
compasses with which we navigate our way through life. Some people read palms to tell your future, but I read hands to tell your past. Each scar marks a story worth telling. Each calloused palm, each cracked knuckle is a missed punch or years in a factory. Now, I've seen Middle Eastern hands clenched in Middle Eastern fists, pounding against each other like war drums. Each country sees their fists as warriors and others as enemies, even if fists alone are only hands.
Hey.
But this is not about politics. No, hands are not about politics. This is a poem about love and fingers. Fingers interlocked like a beautiful zipper of prayer. One time.
A beautiful zipper. Like, how many beautiful zippers have you seen? Like, shout out to YK, like what the largest manufacturer of zippers out there. It's like, yo, check out that zipper. It's made out of emeralds, man. Tight.
It depends. Okay, one
A
thing
zipper of prayer.
She's using like very simple metaphors and very like
Yeah.
the war drum beating, the
Which I
fist, this
appreciate.
and that. Absolutely, this is like a very easy to understand poem. It's very effective in what it's trying to convey, and I think that that's just another one. Like it's there. It's like one of the
I think she meant
metaphors
sacred,
that's
like-
right there in your
like
front
a
of your
beautiful,
face.
beautiful zipper of prayer. I'm like, it's a sacred thing. It's a sacred gesture. or
All right, so
something
like,
like
her hand gestures sell that, but if you were listening to that
No,
only,
I feel you. I feel you.
that. Oh, you
Absolutely.
didn't see it. Okay, yeah.
Well, in my mind, again, we're getting like these soft metaphors to effectively convey an idea, right? And beautiful zipper of prayer is not a simple metaphor.
It's not.
It's reaching a little bit even in that.
Wait,
And
hold on.
like
I
you
get it
said-
though. I get it because like a zipper brings together two
Yeah,
sides,
exactly.
and then the unity of the zipper head is
But-
the prayer.
But
So
the
boom,
one thing
got
that
you.
the one way that it is,
That's just trash.
and you said it best at the very beginning of all of this. The real question, the real indictment is beautiful zipper. The fuck does that mean? What the fuck does that ever mean?
hands. But this is not about politics. No, hands are not about politics. This is a poem about love and fingers. Fingers interlocked like a beautiful zipper of prayer.
Sorry.
One time, I grabbed my dad's hand so that our fingers interlocked perfectly, but he changed positions, saying, no, that handhold is for your mom. Kids high five, but grown up, we learn how to shake hands. You need a firm handshake, but don't hold on too tight, but don't let go too soon, but don't hold down for too long. But hands are not about politics.
Like
when
so
did it become so complicated?
Like
I always thought it's simple. The other day, my dad looked at my hands as if seeing them for the first time, and with laughter behind his eyelids, with all the seriousness a man of his humor could muster, he said, you know, you've got nice hands. You could have been a hand model. And before the laughter can escape me, I shake my head at him and squeeze his hand. 8,002,754.
And like such a fucking hard landing for like such a decent poem. Like it's not a crazy home run poem in like the sense of metaphor or rhyme scheme or technique. It's very effective. It does what it does. It's got good metaphor. It's got like it's understandable completely.
Because as we often discuss about stage poetry versus page poetry, is that on page you can reread as many times as you want until you get the line, while on stage, like audience member cannot rewind time to re-listen to the
try to understand it.
So so a good and effective slam poem is consumable right then and there, which this very much is. Like very simple, effective, like a lot of straight talk, not anything too crazy, but also at the same time, nothing too technically fun either.
Yeah, not really, but effective, right? Like it's not multisyllabic, it's not super rhymey, but it's very effective. Beautiful zipper.
That's a beautiful way to put it, because like now that I'm thinking of my writing, like I have those poems that are good, but I've never made that separation. Like I've always been like, okay, what do I want to perform or whatever, but that's true. Some stuff should be written for stage and some stuff should be written just if you just want to write.
Absolutely. So Shalane, we give every piece here on the 2-piece combo a little poetry score. So we use a slam score. It's 1 through 10 with decimal points. I'm going to jump into it.
All right.
Because
your suggestion, by the way.
It is my suggestion. One, beautiful zipper. Could have been better. Sturdy zipper, concise zipper, like accurate zipper. Like she could have said a lot of different things that would have inspired something. Or not zipper. But if you're going to use zipper, like beautiful zipper, because it's prayer, I get like what you're saying, but it was meh. The bicycle shit I wasn't crazy about. But for that landing, for this being a poem that like you could share universally, you can understand this poem if you're 9 years old or you're on your deathbed. And that is like a magical, special thing. To be able to do that as a writer, to write with like that kind of brevity and wisdom and be 18, let's go. Like to be 18.
That's some young talent right there.
That is,
But question is
young talent though, right? It is what you would expect from a really good young writer. This isn't like some crazy verbose like technical thing. This is like what you would expect from young talent. All that said, I think like this does feel like an almost finished draft. Like it feels like if I don't know, like if this was mine, I feel like
first round, right? So round one.
This would be I performed it 3 or 4 times. I'm on my final draft. That's what it feels like to me.
Okay.
Because I would have cut the bicycle line. Because I would have cut the zipper line. Because you only need one audience reaction to be like, did she just say beautiful zipper? You know what I'm saying? Like shit like that. So that said, shouts out to young Sarah K, the God. I'm gonna come in pretty strong. First round, I'm obviously gonna give this something super strong. So I'm gonna take that away from it, and I'm gonna give this like a good 8.2.
Wow, okay.
I'm gonna say an 8.2. I'm gonna say like I see this first or second round in any slam, I'm gonna give this like an 8.2.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe a little higher, but certainly not lower.
So what prevents it from reaching the 9s?
Really, it's the landing is the most poetic part of the piece. That whole part with like her dad, it's a very nice setup. It's a very nice ending, and it's super effective. But the middle doesn't lend a whole lot to that. It's just talk about hands.
All right.
We're not talking about like this. I thought she was going to tell us a story, and instead she went into like this kind of like
it's a hand association scheme kind of thing. It's like, yo, let me pull out all my punchlines about hands. Without having to rhyme tight.
And then theme it all together on the beginning and the end.
Exactly. I feel like in the middle, instead of beautiful zipper, she could have thrown in some shit about dad again, and then it would have been a little bit stronger.
Even more thematic. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna stick with an 8.2.
All right, Shalane, what you got on this?
So I loved the end, and I did get goosebumps like right before she walked off.
Yeah.
That last line, and even when she was talking about like a little bit before the last line too. So like you talk about the landing, and I feel like a lot of what we go and see spoken poetry for is for the feels. You feel me?
Word.
And so that I felt that, and I'm also just a feeler, but so because of that, and also like. I don't know if she was confident in the middle or whatever, but she really did do a good job. She was made sure that, okay, I'm going to bring it in this way, and then they're going to understand me at the end. So I feel like she was conscious of that. But when we do put it on that scheme of like separating stuff that you're supposed to perform and stuff that you're supposed to write, those things that you're talking about, like that's hard to get in the moment, you feel me, that we had to pause and rewind and spend time with, I feel like because of that, it'll probably be like an 8.7 because of the end, 8.7 and 8.8 because I did feel that.
Because of the beautiful zipper, because of that good landing still.
Honestly, I was like just being really hard about like the beautiful. Like, I just don't like that wording. I just think that's
distracted.
Whack. It's distracting, but at the same time, I very much appreciate that. I was able to understand every word she said, like all throughout. I was able to keep up with her, and oftentimes. In slam, how like we're trying to word swag and like show our technical flair, but sometimes we get lost in that. And what she's saying, it's a lot of like I don't want to say cute, but because that might be disempowering to how dope like it all tied together. But it kind of is like just like visually. Like it's cute,
like adorable, like lighthearted stuff. Yeah,
lighthearted stuff. And that's what I miss in a lot of spoken word stuff, like just lighthearted stuff, as opposed to this like really sticky, grating kind of like tierce poetry. It was all right,
this piece is almost comforting.
Let me punch you in the face with these facts about how I got something that happened to me as a child.
Word.
Like this was like, me and my dad, we held hands like 8 million times, tight. I really fuck with that. And as a round one piece, I would probably give him like a 9 solid.
Really?
Yeah,
because trying to get it through.
Because also like stylistically, right? Like I really want to see someone who brings like with her style of poetry and like just like that lighthearted, positive message. Like, okay, like how are you gonna compete against Dennis Smith in round 3 when he brings out like them tearjerker pieces? It's like, yo, let's go. But like stylistically as a novelty, but even outside of that, just like being able to understand exactly what she says, like off rip, I give it a 9.
Word. And that actually works against her a little bit because we're sitting there being like, did she say zipper? But
yeah, and at the same time,
it's only because we're listening so intently and knowingly the whole
annotate
time
in the poem
that we're able to be like, beautiful zipper. In that moment, we critically like thought about that because we're doing it with her.
Because the thing about like wordplay and shit is that it's a gamble. If somebody like if you land like some really cryptic wordplay that people understand, that hits hard. Like, what? But then at the same time, if you go over heads, it's like, what was that? And then now you got people stuck on the line. It's like, and now they're not listening
experiencing
to what you're saying.
The rest of your message.
Right. It's a big gamble each and every time you pull out that wordplay. But when it hits, it fucking hits. And that's why I love word association schemes and all that shit. So that was the first part of the 2-piece combo, leading us to the second part of the 2-piece combo, where we review the first piece of poetry on Instagram that comes up under #poetry. Oftentimes trash, but sometimes maybe today.
We're trying to fairly just take the first thing. You know what I'm saying? We're not like pre-productioning this.
Right.
We're just trying to boom, here's a poem. So
sometimes
it's boo-boo.
Yeah, so don't take it to heart like as if like, oh, we're only trying to go on Instagram to shit on pieces. Nah, it's just that a lot of them are shitty, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm
cool,
sorry.
like live your own life, you know what I'm saying? It's all good.
Yeah.
All right.
We're not saying stop. We're just saying we don't like it.
We're just saying, do better.
And that's okay. Like and people can't get that these days. That you can't like something and still be okay with that person. Like that's seems impossible nowadays.
So for #poetry, we have from user ir.rmp. It looks like it's a 3-line poem. Maybe it's a haiku. Nice little drawing there. And Shalane,
it's not haiku.
If you'll do us the honor of reading this poem.
Alrighty. You make my heart beat, dance, and break at the same time.
All right, one more time for the listeners.
You make my heart beat, dance, and break at the same time.
Okay.
Let's go. Let's go.
All right, not bad.
Let's go.
Simple.
If you perform this, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, in something, I can fuck with this. You make my heart beat, dance, and break at the same time.
But let's also observe.
There's a lot you could do with that with the performance.
Let's also observe the line breaks, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
You make my heart. That's
Beat,
that
dance,
already,
and break.
No, but you make my heart is already like a full line because she's doing a whole like Maya Angelou thing, right? Where she breaks it to define, to give secondary meaning to the initial line. So you make my heart.
You make my heart
beat, dance, and break at the same time.
That middle line is crazy.
I don't know why I keep picturing
When
breaking.
you read it like that.
Am I the only one that's picturing breaking?
Breakdancing?
Yeah.
Is that why you got so hard? You said, let's go!
You are the only one, Mr. Wild Style. Like, yo,
I don't know why.
we got bow, crazy legs on the floor, beat was good.
I don't know why beat, dance, and break just like reminds me of like
Practicing my sixth
Because it
step all night.
is. You got the
fucking-
beat, you up, dance, break dance.
flexing, dog. I used to be able to head spin. What's up?
I'm thinking that's a like, okay, beat, dance, beat. Okay, you get a life from that person. That's we're talking about the attachment, right?
Okay.
And then dance, they're making you really happy too.
Oh, joy.
Okay, and I love you and all that. And then it's broken now.
Yeah.
You broke my heart.
But at the same time.
Yeah. Yo, I
That's
fuck
a lot
with
of
this.
that's
I
a
fuck
lot of
with it too.
relationships.
Yeah.
I fuck with it a lot. My least favorite part of it is the last part. Like, you make my heart beat, dance, and break at the same time. Like, it's kind of like,
They could
okay, but what does that mean? But
No,
let's go.
No,
I knew
because
exactly what it meant.
Yeah.
Is the
I feel
your greatest love can also, you know,
you wanted something. You like the landings. You wanted
Right.
something that was more like that was
because like someone who you really love can also
Make
break
a
your heart. Yeah. So beat, dance, and
you
break.
wanted a stronger inline, huh?
I guess, man. Maybe
I
I'm
fuck
just
with
being
it. I fuck
salty.
with it.
No, I do fuck with it hard.
So Shalane, you read it twice. You've been looking at it. You heard the conversation. How do you score this out of 10?
When you broke it down and you broke, because I read it, you make my heart beat, pause, dance, and break at the same time. But when you break it down to you make my heart, that's one line. Beat, dance, and break. That middle line is wild.
Yeah.
Compared to the first line and the at the same time, like the that softness of the.
Those are three things that a heart does.
So because of that, like roller coaster, kind of like when you really look at it that way, and I'm just gonna look at it that way. I'm thinking this is like, because I knew what it was before we even went into it, and I read it just straight out. I could relate to it. I'm gonna give it like a 9.1.
Let's go.
All right.
Let's go.
Yo,
Yeah,
let's
fuck
go.
with that.
I'm gonna
Dope
give it a
Instagram piece for
9.1.
one. Yo, we got this.
Because it's
Shout out to
simple.
the-
They ain't even got look at the graphic, the little
graphics fire too, right?
No, they just threw it on there like that.
I could see like some little like little wrist flex tattoo. Like, oh, I like
Right.
a little
Yeah,
tattoo
yeah,
right there.
you-
That's adorable.
like right,
The
like
type
the,
that
like
kids
the
will
dope
like.
person you share a blunt with after the bar, and you sit there
Yeah.
like, oh, what's that?
Yeah.
This is the type of tattoo that, you know, you could do with like, you know, a dirty needle and like some crushed up graphite out of your pencil mixed with shampoo.
You really
shout out to all the man them that's still in locked up and making tattoo ink out
hope
of
y'all live.
crushed pencils and shampoo and
Be
using
careful.
electric wire to melt it all
Jeez,
together.
We're the guards.
Yeah.
Dog, it's a wine glass with a fucking hot air balloon. What are you talking about,
I'm
fam?
just like, they shouldn't be doing that.
no one's poking in little
He's talking
wine
about
glass
jail.
tattoos
No,
in
he's talking
jail.
about
Fam.
He's talking about jail. I'm like,
Anyway, I don't want.
That's fair though. 9.1's fair.
Yeah, facts.
Kuya, what you got? You got a number?
Yeah. For an Instagram poem,
Yeah.
9.5.
okay.
All right. Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, right? It's like there are dope poems on Instagram that are hella lengthy, but
Yeah.
that's not what Instagram's for.
No,
I don't want to swipe right on a fucking carousel. I want it to
Bro,
all
that's
be in
so true.
in a single static post, and boom, you got me there in 3 lines. Shout out
with
to
a dope visual.
Right. Shout out to IR.RMP. Shout out to the Defiled Ink. Edgelord name, but still good poem
Word.
for an Instagram piece.
I feel bad because I gave Sarah K to God an 8.2.
Yeah, you do feel bad.
So I'm like,
What's up?
fuck, I don't want to give the Instagram piece, like, this isn't a better poem than the Sarah K poem that I just reviewed, but this is a fire-ass poem for what it is.
Yeah.
Word.
On that scale, yeah.
Barring the fact that if I want to give this an 8.1 because I gave Sarah K an 8.2, I'm going to say, though, for an Instagram piece all day, I'm going to say 9.2. Let's go. Right. Because this is fucking so
Hell
fire.
yeah.
This is exactly what the medium's for. It looks good. It feels good. I understand it. It is mildly edgelordy in the name, both of them. Like IR, I don't know what that means. I don't know what the file link is, but
No.
Keep writing shit,
But
dog.
that's what defiled ink.
Yeah, I'm definitely.
Go ahead. It makes you feel like something or think something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
edgelordy and gross.
Yeah.
When I hear
Edgelord
defiled,
is someone who like says something edgy just to be like fucking edgy. It's like they're an edgelord. It's like
okay.
dead baby jokes. That's edgelord shit.
That's probably defiled ink.
Yeah.
That's probably that.
defiled reminds me of pee-pee. I don't know why. It's
True.
just me. Like, oh, you peed on it. Like, I'll defile that.
Like it's vile and like disgusting.
Yeah. Somebody like that's the
But
only
that's
way.
why it's like okay, but ink.
But yo, shout out to
That's
this poem.
bullshit.
I'm definitely
Hey.
gonna tag you on the Instagram post on our Instagram at PenClique, PenClique. If you want to comment about this piece, be sure to follow us on Instagram, and you can find this piece on our channel.
Hey,
Let's
moving
go.
on. Off of the last part of the show, the 5 for your eye.
Yes, sir.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
The 5 for your eye is where we give the poet ahead of time a 5-word prompt, and the poet has to use any format, any style of poetry, as long as they use all 5 words of the poem. And Mr. Daniel Hees, what are her 5 words?
So I gave Shalane Goss, the Pomona god out here, melody, rambunctious,
Okay.
flaring,
All right.
Yeah.
curdle,
That one was hard.
curdle.
Nice. Good myrtle. Good mouthfeel in that one.
Yeah, right. That was
Ugh.
and to combat that, angelic.
Okay.
So all 5 words, any format, any style of poem. She just had to use all 5 of them, and this is what she brought.
All right. So this poem was called Aura, and it was very hard to use all those 5 words. But here we go. What are those lights around you? Those lights, you don't see them? It almost seems like I can touch them. They're so vibrant. I can't believe you don't see this. They're flaring. Where's your phone? I need to capture this. The side of this is purely angelic. Okay, let me see it. Okay, hold still. Here, I took a picture of it. Now look. What? You can't see anything? Hold on. Let me take one more. Now look. Right here, all around you. What do you mean? What is it? It's you. You really don't see this? It's amazing. The people you keep around you, they can't see this? They've never pointed this out to you? I mean, nobody is perfect, and don't get me wrong. I know that your spirit is rambunctious and untamed. I know that you answer to no one, barely even yourself. And I know that your words have the power to curdle connections, but you're human, and this aura, you have to see this. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm standing here, and I can't take my eyes off of you. I'm astounded at the fact that you're blind to this. If a melody could be visual, I imagine it would feel like this.
Ooh.
A glowing stream of incandescent beacons that are visually satisfying. The lights burn ablaze and illuminate the atmosphere around you, almost like it's gleaming straight from the seat of your soul. Come over to this mirror. Look up. Can you see it this way? Look closely. Look deeply. What do you mean, where is it? It's everywhere. Around you, those lights, you don't see them? It almost seems like I can touch them. They're so vibrant. I can't believe you don't see this. They're flaring.
Hey, let's go. Shalane.
Hell yeah.
God, Shalane God.
My goodness.
Doing it. Fire.
Yo, start out with a poem that gives me the feels, and with a poem that gives me the feels.
Hey, curdle connection, dog.
Hell
Come
yeah.
on, let's go. Let's go. All right, tell them all where they can hit you at, Shalane Goss.
All right, you can hit me at Instagram, Shalane Goss, Facebook, Shalane Goss as well.
Can you spell that out for the peoples?
Yes, sir. SHALANEGOSS. All of my music platforms, Shalane No Goss. Tidal App Music and Spotify. It'll be Shalane.
Just Shalane.
Yeah.
Go check her out. She's making dope, vibey ass hip hop shit. We out here. Pomona's strong, y'all.
Yeah.
Pomona out here.
Gotta be.
Shouts out to the Skid Row Project. Everything we doing out here, helping the homeless community.
Yes, sir. If you want to join us in helping those around us, you can follow us at the Skid Row Project or find all the information at theskidrowproject.org.
Go check her out at Shalane Goss at the Skid Row Project. Shalane No Goss on all the music platforms.
Yes, sir. Yes,
doing
sir.
it. Kuya.
Yeah. You know what it is? PenClique. You can find us on Instagram, on Facebook. PenClique, PenClique, bringing you the most amazing poetry-related social media content on the galaxy.
Hey.
Swear down, bro.
Yes.
Hell yeah. And on Twitter, we are at The Pen Clique because, one particular South African news station that has not posted since 2006 refuses to let go. Yo, I'm trying to pry it from your dead hands, but you don't even have an email where I can contact you to give you like the $5 notification. It's like, yo, let me just get it, bro. Like, you're not doing nothing with it. Just let it be.
Just keep reporting them.
And for that, you could also find us at penclique.net. Because of the same folks.
Let it go.
.com. Fuck out of here.
Let
You're not
it
even
go.
doing shit, bro.
We're doing it for the culture.
Facts.
All right, we're in a garage.
Hell yeah.
This is for the love of poetry.
Just like Apple was back in the 60s. So boom, never know. In 30 years, we're going to get that .com by hook or by crook. You know what I'm saying?
It's going to be
We're coming for that.
Hey, check out everything I'm doing. Shalane just did Chubby Fat not too long ago. Check out Chubby Fat, thechubbyfat.com. Chubby Fat, wherever you get all your podcasts. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Come out to Mike and Dim Lights the first Thursday of every month in downtown Pomona. One love.
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
Hey.
Right. That was dope.
That was it. Damn, I gave Sarah K an 8.2 publicly, dog. That's on the record. I really fucked with Sarah K, too.